There it is. There's the action. Good afternoon, everybody. Scott Selverian here. It is 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, which where I am, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, and we're excited to be here. We're going to be delivering a webinar today on mastering content strategy with IntelliSearch, which is obviously what everybody signed up for. We're gonna give it a couple of minutes, let everybody log in, get their sound adjusted, get their snacks or lunch ready. As we're doing that, as we're waiting, we usually like to hear where you guys are from. I would prefer to hear something a little bit different. So if you guys can put in the chat, I did this before, but let's go with your favorite ice cream flavor. If you could put in your chat the favorite ice cream flavor, that way we know you can hear me okay. I've got a fancy new microphone here, so there we go. There we go. All right, we got a lot of people on so far. Holy moly, they're coming in fast. Cookie dough, dulce de leche. These are coming in so fast I can't even read them. Peanut butter and fudge, moose tracks, vanilla, banana fudge. That one caught my eye. I'm a big chunky monkey guy. Some of you may know. That's my ultimate favorite. Um, by Ben and Jerry's. If you haven't had it, you should. What else we got? Peanut butter and fudge, dill pickle. Jason, I'm gonna have to put a hold on that one. I like the dill pickle potato chips, but I'm not sure about dill pickle ice cream. Cool. Well, I appreciate everybody's interaction here. So we're gonna give it a couple more minutes, and then we're gonna get rolling. Strawberry pistachio. I'm a big fan of pistachio. That's a good one. Let's see what else we got up here. Rocky Road. Some good options. Chocolate, coconut flakes, mud pie mojo. Nobody put in, we had one time last time was birthday cake. Somebody put in birthday cake. I think my kids used to eat that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. I think the only thing that should taste like birthday cake is actual birthday cake. I had a dog we called Chunky Monkey and we dressed him. Reba, I love that. That's a great idea. Dressed him as Chunky Monkey. That's hilarious. Cool. Well, we have a ton of people, it seems like, logged in so far. So we're at 254. Sweet. Hope everybody's day's going well. I think we've got probably people from all over the country and Canada, is my guess. We had a lot of people register for today, so we're going to give it, oh, and Hawaii, and we're going to give it a few more minutes because we did have a significant number of registrations. We want to give everybody a chance to log in and hear the content we're going to deliver. Alaska. Okay. All right, I guess we've shifted over to locations as opposed to ice cream flavors, which I guess is okay. So and we've got Melvin's AI assistant, which is nice. Cool. So all right, so we're pushing, counting up towards 300. Mark Maine, Colorado. I am in Fort Collins, Colorado. So nice to see you, Mark. All right. So I think we start getting rolling. We're pushing 300 people. I do want to respect everybody's time, so I think everybody else can sort of log in and find out what we're talking about as we move along. Like I said, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Scott Selverian. I am the Director of Industry Relations here at Sierra Interactive, and I'm super excited to be here. This is such a great topic to be talking about, which is content strategy, right? Like one of the key ways you can differentiate yourself from the giant national portals that are out there, is creating content, is being hyper local, and also enables you to drive organic lead generation as well. So one of the things that we're going to be tying into this conversation today is Sierra Interactive's new IntelliSearch feature, what that is, what it does, how it's going to help you with your content strategy. So quick introductions with me today. I've got Cindy Liang. She is one of our senior product managers here at Sierra Interactive. Cindy is sort of the queen bee of IntelliSearch. She has been leading the IntelliSearch charge. So we're super excited to have her here to be able to demo the feature for you guys. And also, we've got a good friend of mine, Philip Clift. Philip is our customer education manager here at Sierra. He's been at Sierra a little bit longer than me, about 4 or 5 years, Philip. Also has a background in the industry, so we have a lot of good conversations together. And he's going to talk a lot about about sort of tying IntelliSearch into your content strategy and how that all works. So we're going to get rolling here. And before we do, I appreciate everybody's feedback in the webinar chat. We're going to start things off with a really quick poll. And the question is how familiar are you with AI overviews in search results? How familiar are you with AI overviews in search results? I'm having trouble reading today. So that poll is up. If you guys can answer that for us, we'll come back to you with those results. And in the meantime, let's go sharing my screen here. And there's the poll. So we're going to talk a little bit about IntelliSearch. And to do that, I'm going to pass it off to the queen bee of IntelliSearch, Cindy Liang. Cindy?
Thanks, Scott. Well, I hope you guys are all voting for very familiar with AI Overview. It is the latest thing. As you can see here in the screenshot, right, AI Overview really is a fundamental change to kind of how people are searching and consuming information today. Studies are showing that this is now appearing on average nearly half of all Google searches today. And so you probably have experienced this yourself when you're searching for something. As you can see here, when you are searching an AI overview comes up, it's really dominating the top half of that search result. It's synthesizing information from multiple trusted sources, right? And not just that, AI overview is also giving you direct links to those sources, and essentially is kind of signaling and saying to users like, hey, these are the sort of trusted sources you should go to when you're looking for answers to X. In this case, sleep, right? How to sleep better. And you can also see here, also on the screenshot, right, that traditional organic listings are getting pushed significantly down the page. And so AI Overview really today isn't just another algorithm update. It's really changing how information is getting discovered online. And so what that means for you guys is it's really actually an opportunity. It's a little bit of a rethink about, instead of getting your content sort of ranking to be the first, it's thinking about how do you get your content cited in these AI overviews, because it's a new pathway to visibility and authority in that sense. If we go to the next slide. How does, I think the question you might have is sort of, how does AI kind of decide what information to show in these overviews, right? Who do they use to cite these information from? And from research, from studies, it looks like AI is really looking at sort of 4 key factors. First is authority. It's content from sites that have already established credibility and expertise in their field. So that means websites that really are demonstrating deep knowledge of their markets. Then it's relevance, content that is directly addressing the very specific query or search that the user is looking for, and it's aligning with the user intent. And so that means that it's really going beyond just keywords and really understanding what the searcher is actually looking for and needing. Third is freshness, right? It's prioritizing up-to-date information that reflects current trends and market conditions. And finally, clarity, right? Well-structured, clearly written content that's providing direct answers. So when you're writing content, right, think about how do you provide headings? How are you summarizing things, using data? These are all sort of helpful things to keep in mind. That said, right, one thing that, I really want to highlight here and sort of just understand is kind of, how is AI actually evaluating then the content that you're writing based on these 4 things? Unlike traditional search algorithms that really is focused on sort of technical factors, so to speak, AI is kind of evaluating content more like how a human would, right? Is looking to understand that real intent behind searches. It values genuine expertise over just simple keyword optimization. That said, that's not to say like, technical SEO is no longer important. It still remains to be very important. Domain authority, that kind of stuff still remains to be very important. Research has shown that about 50% of AI overview citations is still coming from top ranking pages. However, what is changing here is that the other 50% is coming from content that may not have ranked in the first page. Maybe it's the fifth page, maybe it's the sixth page. But if it provides exceptional relevance to that specific search, then you're gonna get cited in the AI overview as a trusted source. Okay, so that's really important to remember, right? And so when you're writing content for your website, this really means that you're needing to maintain a balance, right? You have to continue to build strong domain authority while ensuring that your content is not just highlighting all the right keywords, but it's really addressing the user intent with the depth and expertise you all have about your market. So if we go to the next slide, one of the things I mentioned earlier is that AI overview is really only getting triggered on average about 50%. Sometimes it could be more depending on the search and industry you're in, right? So that means that there are moments when an AI review isn't getting triggered, right? So we want to understand too, not just how AI is evaluating content, but also what could trigger an AI overview. From our own research, what we have found is that AI overview tends to appear at that intersection between how people, your prospective home buyers, are naturally searching for homes and how property is actually getting formally categorized in MLS systems, right? So as you can see, it seems to appear most commonly for what we would call like problem-solving searches, right? These are searches for where people are looking for specific solutions or particular need. Maybe that's like homes with mother-in-law suites or passive homes near a specific location, right? Or even like multi-generational homes or homes with smart home technology as an example. These types of searches tend to lack direct matches in structured MLS data, right? There are really no checkboxes for mother-in-law suites in most of the MLS fields. And so this is when AI overview tends to step in and kind of sort of bridge the gap. And when it doesn't get triggered is really around when you have more structured generic searches, right? For like homes for sale in Seattle, that's structured location. You're gonna find that as just a direct search result. Basic criteria, right? 3-bedroom houses for sale, or even simple category search like condos for sale as an example. These searches map directly to standard MLS fields. And so again, I wanna highlight, right? Remember that it's really appearing when there's a gap between natural language search and structured property data. So if we go to the next slide, kind of an example, just to kind of highlight what this really means concretely, is you can see here, let's say a prospective home buyer is searching for passive homes for sale in Washington State. An AI overview is appearing, right? And that's really because this sort of search is kind of hard to address through traditional means. And you can even see in the screenshot, right? AI is actually telling you when you're looking for real estate listings that's around passive homes, maybe you consider filtering for green or energy efficient. And those are the sources that they're highlighting on the right, as the sort of like the cited sources, because MLS systems don't have a direct way to search for passive homes, okay? And so this is where the disconnect is, I think, and the gap that IntelliSearch is looking to support, right? Is that home buyers are naturally searching for properties using lifestyle, feature-based language, right? Passive homes for sale, homes with mother-in-law suites. And these types of properties are not categorized in such ways in MLS systems, right? And so for agents, you probably have also encountered this many, many, many times, I'm sure, where your buyer's now coming to you and saying, hey, I want a home with mother-in-law suites. And you sort of have to figure out how to translate that, right? Maybe mother-in-law suite means it's a second master bedroom. Maybe it means it's a house on a large lot. And so there's an opportunity to build a mother-in-law suite, right? Not only that, you have to sort of figure out then how to write the content to map to this while not having direct relevant listings to show. And so that's really, again, where IntelliSearch is coming in. It's here to support you in creating the content and the searches that effectively bridge this divide, right? Connecting these lifestyle type searches to actual relevant listings And that's really where I think the real opportunity lies, and just kind of how your content is going to likely get cited, hopefully.
Okay, thanks, Cindy. Appreciate that insight. And it is interesting to see how people are getting used to searching with just conversational terms, right? As opposed to having to think what the MLS or what the specific descriptor is. So, super interesting to see that breakdown. We're going to do another poll now, real quick, before we jump into actually seeing how IntelliSearch is going to help you guys with what Cindy was talking about. Before we do the second poll, let's go back to the first poll. How familiar are you? I'm having trouble with that today. With AI overviews in search results. We got the highest percentage. I've noticed them, but haven't paid much attention to them. That's 43%. Wait, there are AI overviews? That was 34%. So a lot of people aren't even seeing them at all. And then 24% of you out there say I reference them. I reference them all the time. So I'm guessing that 34% is probably going to jump up, actually go down after this webinar. So on to the next poll. Let's see what we got here. The next poll is, have you ever spotted your site in Google's AI overview? This is going to be super cool to see if anybody's ranking. So simple yes, no question. Have you ever spotted your site in Google's AI overview? Cool. All right. So what are we on to next? Let's actually see what the heck this whole IntelliSearch is. We've been talking about it for a while. That's why you guys are here. Cindy, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to hand it over to you so you can show what everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, thank you. So before we get into the first look, just really quickly, Scott mentioned this, right? Like we just talked about how AI overview works, where it shows up, right? It's showing up at that intersection of natural language search where, there's no direct MLS criteria mapping. And so where I want to start with the first look is really showing you guys two sort of core use cases of how you can think about using IntelliSearch to create content and e-alert to essentially capture that traffic, right? Connecting the lifestyle searches to relevant listings and hopefully increasing the likelihood of getting your content cited, okay? So with that, let me share my screen. Okay, you all can see my screen. Yeah, okay, awesome.
Yep,
So
we're good.
first use case, awesome. So first use case, imagine you're an agent who is subscribing to the National Association of Realtors, right? You see this blog post that is talking about the rise of multi-generational home buying, right? This is a trending feature that you are like, oh, wow, now I want to go and create some content and capture that traffic and drive and attract buyers to my website, right? That is for listings that are perfect for multi-generational homes. Maybe you want to have some blog posts around this as well. Traditionally, as I mentioned earlier, right, multi-generational home, you would have had to figure out how to translate that into this scrollable list of criteria. And probably 99% of the time, you're not going to find an exact match to multi-generational in this sort of structured MLS criteria list, right? And so what that means is you're having to do that translation. Maybe you may have to even just not have a community page that's about multi-generation home because you can't find anything because you can't do that translation very well, right? So that's a lost opportunity, and that's an opportunity that IntelliSearch is helping to fill and support. And so with IntelliSearch, you can now essentially come in, still to your CAA admin portal, right? Go to your Save Search, click on New Save Search, and right away you see this brand new search experience. We've designed this to essentially mimic a typical e-commerce website where you have, your search criteria is right here on the left with real-time listing results right here on the right. And so what I was saying earlier, right, with multi-generational home, you're seeing this trend, you want to capture it. All you have to do now, instead of going through the long list of criteria, you come into IntelliSearch. You can use the keyword search and essentially just type in I'm not going to type it in. You're going to see me copy and paste. Multi-generational here, right? And we'll go and find listings that perfectly match this criteria. And you can even double check and just to make sure. And so you can click on this listing. And it says multi-generational living, right? This is now looking across both listing descriptions as well as MLS search criteria. So if the listing agent is putting that information in, we're going to be able to find that just like we did right here with multi-generational living. And now you're able to curate a set of safe search that's focused around multi-generational living. You can hit save and continue, save that search, and it'll show up in your safe search list. You can now come into your content page section, right? Create a whole community page around multi-generational homes for sale, add in some blog or add in some information, and then add in that safe search for the multi-generation homes that you just created just now with IntelliSearch.
And
Okay.
Cindy, quick question. So by putting that keyword term in the search bar like you did, the multi-generational, what is it looking at in the listing to be able to find that?
So it's looking for the exact key term, multi-generational in this case, right, in the listing description and or MLS search criteria.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so we're
Okay,
looking
so
for exact matches as well as fuzzy matches. So if you typed in multi-generational, but you didn't have the hyphen as an example,
yeah,
we'll still find it.
gotcha. Okay, so if there isn't a particular criteria in the MLS option, or what I found when I was an agent is sometimes agents when they're putting listings in the MLS, they forget to check a checkbox, right? Like they forget
Right.
to check the waterfront checkbox, and then if you search the waterfront homes, that particular one won't come up. So what you're telling us here is IntelliSearch will look at any of those options that have been checked, but it's also going to look at the words in the listing description. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. And
Perfect.
so in this case, the word, multi-generational is in the listing description.
Right.
And so we
Right.
found that and we said this is an exact match. We're going to surface that up.
Cool. Excellent. Love that.
A second sort of use case of kind of how you can think about using IntelliSearch from a content standpoint is you can essentially look at what other blog posts have you guys already written today, right? And so as an example, we wrote a blog post in early March around top home trends in Atlanta, right? Features, styles, and add-ons home buyers seem to love. And so we talk a little bit about what are those things. And in the past, you probably would have left it as just a blog post, right? Now it's a blog post, people can come to it, they can read about it. But now with IntelliSearch, you can essentially say, well, I don't want to just stop there. I want to give users or home buyers a natural next step, right? To click through to look for listings that are perfectly matching exposed brick walls, right? So you can now copy that and come back into IntelliSearch, again, using keyword search, looking for exposed brick walls. We found 72 results right here. Again, you can double check this information in the listing detail page, right? It talks about where's exposed brick walls right here, right? You can now come in, do the same thing, create that community page, and then essentially cross-link this. And so when your home buyer is looking through this blog post, you're like, oh, wow, that's cool. There's all these top home trends. Oh, let me click on this link to see what listings are there that have actually exposed brick walls, right? We've done this with a smart home technology. We wrote an article around smart home technology. We cross-linked it to a community page that was focused on smart home technology. So homes for sale that comes equipped with smart home technology, as an example. So that's just another way that you can sort of think about how to use IntelliSearch to kind of help you with content creation. So a couple other things I want to highlight here with IntelliSearch from a capability standpoint is if you are an agent today that work or have multiple MLS feeds on your website, right? We've essentially combined all of those MLS feeds into a single view. And so that is now under data sources, MLS feeds. We've defaulted you to all feeds included. And so what that means is you just have to think about the criteria that you're looking for. You don't have to think about, am I using, FMLS data feed to power the search, or should I use GAMLS, right? It doesn't matter. You could just default this. You still have the option to say, I want to select FMLS if you want to. That is still there. The second, capability I want to highlight here is an update to the way we have done location search. Something that we have heard from agents is home buyers often come, right? And they'll say, I'm really looking for homes that are in X school district, let's say. I could be convinced, right, to expand this to another city or neighborhood. In the past, this would have had to been two separate searches, two separate e-alerts that get sent out to your lead. Now, you can essentially combine these criteria or locations into a single search. And so you can say, okay, my lead is looking for, homes that are in Bacon County Elementary School. They're open to potentially living in Atlanta, Georgia, right? And so now we're looking for listings in Atlanta or in Bacon County Elementary School District. You can go a step further if you want and say, I also maybe want to add in a polygon, right? You can then just come in, draw that polygon, hit save, and now we're looking for listings that are in Atlanta or Bacon County Elementary School or in the custom polygon that you just drew.
Super
The
cool.
last
So
thing I want to highlight. Oh, yeah.
If I could interject there really quick, I love that because I actually run up against that all the time, especially the cross MLS search. So that's super exciting. Couple things I just want to highlight for our audience because there's a lot of questions, like a barrage of questions coming through, which we love. First and foremost, IntelliSearch has not been rolled out yet. If you are a current Sierra client, this will be a phased rollout through the end of Q2. So you are going to get it. You don't have it yet. So don't go looking in your system right now and say you don't have it. We know that it's coming. And we're just as excited about it as you are. The other thing we're super excited about is it's coming at no cost, right? Like your current Sierra experience, as good as it is, we're going to elevate that and level it up when we roll out IntelliSearch. So yes, Trey, I hear you. It's coming. We're working on it. The other thing is a bit of housekeeping. We are recording this. You will get a copy of this. It'll be sent out around sometime tomorrow. So bear with us there. And there was one other note I wanted to mention, which is we are compiling all the questions in the chat. So if we don't get to them today in this conversation, we will answer those questions going forward and get those out to you. So sorry to interrupt, Cindy. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
Oh, no worries.
But if I didn't say that, I would have forgotten. So
no worries. All right. So one last thing I want to just sort of highlight in terms of the capabilities with the agent facing experience of IntelliSearch is that we've given you the ability to essentially really curate and refine the set of results that you see here, right? So you did your search, you put in your criterias, right? In this case, just a few different locations. We found you a little over 5,000 results. You can come in, you can look at this, and you can go, okay, great, right? Maybe for whatever reason, you don't want to include this particular listing because the photos that the listing agent took isn't that great. It's not showing up very well, right? You can easily just click on this little X right here, and we've removed it from this set of results for you, right? Now you see this going down. If you've accidentally X'd out of it, you can just remove it from the active filters, and then we will add it back in, as you can see right here. And so this is really giving you a very powerful tool for you to really curate that experience and relevant listings for your website and for your e-alert, right?
Super cool. And just to
So
clarify, Cindy, this what you're showing our audience now is on the back end of Sierra. So this is the agent search experience when you're either setting up a saved search or setting up a search to then attach to a content or community page. So that's what we're looking at here. I love the live results too. I mean, right now you got to set up a search. You see how many results there are. You got to open the search up. You got to adjust the search. So those results to be changing and active is super cool. So I think we got a lot of people that are excited about that.
awesome. One last thing I want to highlight too is just that, like, we've carried that same search experience. This is how you create a safe search. You're going to see the same search experience in e-alert experience as well, right? So you go to your list lead detail page, you hit create e-alert, you can use a favorite search, you can either create or you can create a new one, and it's the same search experience that you see here. Okay, so we've carried that across various sections. You might be asking right now, what about IDX, right? What about the home buyer facing experience? And so we know that's really important for you all. And so we've essentially done the same thing, right? Your home buyers have the ability to do a combination of different locations. So they can also come in and look for listings that are in Bacon County Elementary School District or in Atlanta City, right? They can also come in and use keyword search right here, and they can look for exposed brick walls. And we found them 45 properties, right? So they're now, your prospective home buyers now have the ability to basically really also refine the listings that they're looking at for your website. And so by the time that they get to, registering, they're likely more high intent and would convert faster. And that's that for IntelliSearch demo.
That is awesome. I know we've got a lot of people in the chat. I'm going to highlight Trey specifically again. Yes, it's coming. We are rolling it out very soon. So we are all excited about it. I'm glad to see that you guys are so excited about it as well. And we've got a ton of questions with that. So, Cindy, this is great. Thank you so much for showing that. Like I said, am super excited about it because I still run a Sierra site, and a lot of this is going to definitely give me a leg up as well. So, with that, Philip has been sitting there nice and quiet, just kind of watching everything going on. I'd like to bring Philip into the conversation now and sort of tie things together, right? Like Cindy did a great job of showing the feature, tying it into how you can build out content pages. Philip, I'd like to hand it over to you so you can tell us a little bit about. Let me share my screen here. You know, how do we connect this all together? How do our clients use IntelliSearch in a smart way to help them with their SEO results, to help them start gathering organic leads? That's one of the things that Sierra is known best for. So what are some of the strategies that they can implement or at least start planning to implement as we're rolling out IntelliSearch?
Yeah, thanks for setting that up for me, Scott. It's really hard to follow up the IntelliSearch queen, right? And I think that our audience might have gotten a little bit of a glimpse of from behind the scenes what we get to experience, Scott, of Cindy's just depth of knowledge with the feature, and it's great picking her brain on it. Okay, so as Scott mentioned, I want to really talk to everyone about the content marketing use cases for the feature like IntelliSearch. I saw Scott in the chat and Devin and Dustin and some of our other content marketers that I've had a lot of conversations with. So thank you all for joining us on that. What I want to start with is this idea of keyword search. And when I think of IntelliSearch, it's got all those great capabilities that Cindy mentioned. But from a content marketing side, my brain goes keyword rich searches, right? And this is kind of really how I would encourage you all to start thinking about how you can use IntelliSearch for your content marketing and your organic lead generation, right? As Cindy mentioned, IntelliSearch is really has been designed to align with search engines and buyer behavior, seller behavior to really improve SEO rankings. So with IntelliSearch, you're going to be able to create keyword-rich saved searches that capture high intent leads and that can drive organic traffic. I think I saw it in the chat earlier, but think of like waterfront homes with private docks in Miami, right? That's a keyword rich saved search that we can create. Energy efficient homes in Boston, Mass. You know, homes with a basement in the Midwest or something like that, right? So this is where we can really start spinning our gears from a content marketing side to really look at how we can use IntelliSearch. So the thing that we're going to do is you want to look at your saved searches. So when you're going to start strategizing on how you want to implement IntelliSearch into your organic lead generation strategies, first thing you think about is, okay, what saved search am I going to make with the keywords that I want to hit? You'll then create the search parameters as Cindy showed us, review it, and then save it, right? So now we've done first step of I can use IntelliSearch into my content marketing pieces. If we go to the next slide, Scott, excuse me, you can see now I have my next couple of slides are about how can we use that saved search now and generate organic leads. So the obvious answer here is community pages, right? Community pages are what I would consider um, high value SEO assets, right? Community pages really rank well because they provide valuable hyper local content. And that's the key there is hyper local content, right? As some of you content marketers know, and as some of you site owners know, it's really, really difficult to compete with a Zillow or a Redfin or a Realtor.com, right? They have a national, international presence for some of those, where our sites come in and Sierra sites and your sites can really take over that organic lead gen area um, is with hyper local content, right? A Zillow can't compete with your local knowledge. So when you pair IntelliSearch and finding those listings with IntelliSearch, you can create a seamless experience for searchers and also for Google crawlers, right? Cindy mentioned searching by location. So an example here that I thought of was, okay, well, let's think about homes for sale near top-rated schools in Dallas, right? Or something along those lines. We can really put in a lot of different ideas with the keyword aspect that IntelliSearch brings us, right? We can, so best practices here for your community pages as you start to think about, all right, when I get IntelliSearch, I want to start creating these community pages, right? So first think about an SEO friendly title, engaging introductions, right? We all know we're all adult learners here. If you don't get anyone's attention within that first 15, 20 seconds, they're bouncing off the page. If you can even last, if they're even lasting 15 seconds on the page. So you need to create that engaging intro. Make sure to embed your saved searches. So if you are creating homes for sale near top rated schools in Dallas, make sure to do the step that Cindy showed you, which is to add that saved search to your community page. And then also, Cindy mentioned this at the top again, is, technical SEO is not going anywhere. So doing things like adding internal links to your blogs and other resources, as well as promoting via email and social media to drive traffic are all going to be really good for you to really uh, to improve your SEO with IntelliSearch. Now, the next idea is this idea with content clusters. So in the next slide, Scott, we can show a real life example here. So here's an example of a content page that has been created for energy efficient homes in Boston, Massachusetts, right? And when we talk about what else can we do with IntelliSearch, well, think about other ideas that can come off of this one community page that we have created with IntelliSearch, right? So content clusters really reinforce authority on a topic. So if you are interested in SEO, you probably know of EAT, right? Authority is that A in EAT. So you can help reinforce your authority on a specific topic, and that helps you rank higher with your search engines, right? So the strategy here is to really create a pillar page. A pillar page is the community page that maybe we talked about, energy efficient homes in Boston, Mass, right? And then you create supporting blogs around it, right? So like on the slide here, you have 4 blog ideas that you can link back to this one community page. What does energy efficient mean? What are top features of energy efficient homes? Are there any benefits of sustainable living? How to find the perfect energy efficient home, right? So, and there's probably a whole bunch more that you can go ahead and build off of from this one pillar page. So you can create supporting blogs that link back to your pillar page. And guess what? We're all supporting now that search. The search is what we really want our site visitors to do, is to search for specific homes. So if you think about it this way, we're using IntelliSearch to create the bait. The bait is the community page with the listings we want them to get to. We might need to broaden our net a little bit and use a gill net, and we can do so by creating more blogs, right? All driving traffic to our site with hopefully the ultimate goal of clicking through listings and then raising their hand so they can be harassed by us to get converted, right? So this is a really good plug of this idea of like content clusters, and this is just one example that you can create. But if you go to the next slide, Scott, on April 8th, we're going to be the customer education team will be diving deeper into this idea of building SEO-driven content clusters. And that feature-based training will be held on April 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a link for everyone to sign up. And for those of you familiar with Casey Steele, and maybe you've met him at a show or you've had a training session with him, he's actually going to be the one hosting that. So we'll have that example. We'll show you the how-to, how to create the search with IntelliSearch, how to embed it, how to create the community page, how to create other blogs off of it, and then we have a lot of other content as well with other ideas for content clusters that you can all create.
Awesome. Thank you, Philip. Quick question for you. Going back to this slide, and I love this idea, by the way, and having sort of that pillar page. We've got a lot of people and clients on here that are pretty well versed in creating content pages, creating, really optimizing for SEO on our websites. If you're not one of those people, because we've got a lot of people that are maybe just getting started or just starting to understand SEO, how can they go about coming up with the topics to create their content pages and the ideas for the blogs?
That's a great question, Scott. Thank you. So this is where I'm a big advocate for keyword research, right? And again, really hitting this point home, the key advantage you have with your Sierra site over a Zillow, a Realtor.com, or a Redfin is you're hyper local. You're a trusted local, right? So you really need to play on that. So what I would recommend is do your keyword research. There are tools out there, Ahrefs, SEMrush, that you can do keyword research with. But a really good thought exercise that I like to do is let me search for homes in my area. Right? What are the common man and common woman, the common person, what are they going to be searching for when they look for homes here? Right. So start thinking about those, because there's some areas, and back to Cindy's earlier point, there's some areas where it's like, what does that really mean? Right. When I was selling, we had finished rooms over the garage. Some people call them bonus rooms. Some call them frogs. Right. So that could be an idea of, here's hyper local content that I can create. Zillow's not going to know what a frog is. Right. They don't know it's a finished room over your garage. And maybe your market doesn't even call it that. But there's one example, right, where you really have a leg up on creating that. So to answer your question, Scott, and bring it circling around here, is keyword research is going to be key for anyone trying to start with SEO and organic lead gen, or some of the more expert content marketers are going to talk about how they use AI, every quarter to look at keyword research. There's a hidden tip right there, right? You can ask AI, ChatGPT, Bard, any one of those for like, hey, what are keywords for this specific area?
Right.
Right.
Right. Love that. And thank you for leading me to the solution for what frog stands for. So I appreciate that, because I was like, frog, the heck is that? Super cool. That's great. I appreciate that. And, we do have a lot of clients that are just starting out there in SEO. So that's super helpful to be able to do that. Well, I appreciate both you guys being here. I think we delivered an incredible amount of value just by the amount of activity in our chat right now. It's like, I don't think I've ever been on a webinar that's had this much activity. If you are not a Sierra customer yet, and you'd like to learn more about the platform and being able to get IntelliSearch, you can book a demo with us. Here's a QR code. We'd love to be able to talk to you, see if we're a right fit for your business, and how we can help you out. And with that, again, I appreciate everybody being here. I really appreciate the interaction in the chat. Cindy, thank you for walking us through IntelliSearch. Philip, thank you for walking us through some SEO ideas and content ideas and how we can do that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Really appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a great week.